Chosen one. The night is holding its breath for you. Everything around you feels strangely still, as if creation itself knows that heaven is about to speak. You didn't stumble upon this by chance. This moment was written before time began. God has paused the noise of the world so you could finally hear him. You can sense it, a quiet stirring inside your chest, a pull that words can't explain. It isn't random emotion, it's divine alignment. Heaven has chosen this hour to remind you that you have not been forgotten. God knows your heart. He has seen every tear you refused to show. He has heard every silent prayer that broke through the weight of your exhaustion. You have been asking, Lord, are you still there? And tonight, his answer is, yes, he never left. There was once a chosen one who felt just like you. She had dreams buried under disappointment and nights filled with unanswered questions. One evening, as rain tapped against her window, she whispered, God, if you still see me, send me peace. The next morning, her phone rang. It was the very person she thought had forgotten her, speaking words that healed her heart. That moment wasn't luck. It was God proving he still listens. You, too, are about to see proof that heaven hears you. The Word of God declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 18, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Let that settle in your spirit. God doesn't stand far away when you're hurting. He draws closer. When others turn away, he leans in. When the world tells you to toughen up, he whispers, rest, child, I've got you. Oh, maybe lately you felt isolated. Maybe people who once understood you now feel like strangers. It's not rejection, it's redirection. God has been clearing your path, separating noise from purpose. You're in a sacred pause, not a dead end. Think of a bow and arrow. The string pulls back before release. The backward tension doesn't mean retreat, it means preparation for distance. The same tension you feel in your spirit right now is the force that will launch you into your calling. You've endured seasons that made no sense, doors that slammed shut, prayers that seemed unanswered. But listen carefully. Heaven was never ignoring you. God was building the version of you that could carry his promise. The silence wasn't absence, it was surgery. He's been healing what you didn't even know was broken. Every sleepless night you've endured has purpose. Every loss has meaning. You've been walking through the valley. But the valley is not your destination, it's your classroom. God has been teaching you to trust him when you can't trace him. And now, as the night edges toward morning, the shift begins. You might not see it yet, but heaven is moving pieces into place. There's a stirring in the atmosphere, a divine setup in progress. Chosen one, lift your head. The sky is changing color. You are standing at the border between the old and the new. The darkness is losing its grip. What comes next depends on one thing, your response. God won't force you forward. He invites you. This is your moment to say, I'm ready. Whisper it right now. You don't need a perfect prayer, just honesty. That small yes can open doors no human could shut. Before tomorrow morning, something will shift. It may not be loud, but it will be clear. A sign, a peace, a sudden realization, something that confirms God has been near all along. When it happens, recognize it. Say in your heart, that was you, Lord. And you've waited long enough. This is your dawn season. Step into it. If this message reaches something deep within, you share it. Someone else may need this same reminder before their morning comes. Like this message, if you feel that gentle spark of recognition, subscribe if your spirit knows this isn't the end, but the beginning of your awakening. And when you comment, write the number 777, the sign of completion and divine perfection, declaring that your waiting season is turning into fulfillment. The night has done its part. Now, it's your turn to rise. You are moments away from breakthrough. Heaven's silence was never absence, it was set up. The light you've been praying for is already beginning to rise. Stand tall. Chosen one. The same God who saw your tears will soon make your testimony shine brighter than the morning sun. Your time has come. Chosen one. The watcher of hearts has searched you deeply. Nothing about you is hidden from him, not the doubts, not the fears, not even the moments you've tried to forget. You may have fooled others with calm smiles and strong words, but heaven has read every unspoken sentence in your soul. He knows the difference between the words you say and the ache you carry underneath them. Every sigh that left your chest was recorded. Every time you tried to pray but only tears came out. Heaven heard. Sometimes you wonder why God allows the hidden struggles, the kind no one sees. The truth is, what's hidden is often where He does His most sacred work. The world looks at actions, but God looks at intentions. While people measure worth by success, He measures faithfulness by the heart's posture. There was a young man, another chosen one, who appeared confident before everyone. His life seemed steady, his faith strong, but behind closed doors, he wrestled with quiet emptiness. He'd serve others, encourage friends, post words of hope. Yet at night he felt hollow. One evening, overwhelmed, he simply said, "God, I can't keep pretending." That night, something broke, but not in defeat. It was the breaking open that allowed truth to breathe. For the first time, he stopped performing and started being real, and God began to restore him from the inside out. Maybe you're standing in that same place between pretending and surrender. You're tired of being the strong one. You want someone to notice that behind your endurance is exhaustion. Hear this. God has noticed. You don't need to prove your strength to Him. You only need to be honest. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 17, verse 10. I, the Lord, search the heart and examine the mind, to reward each person according to their conduct, according to their deeds. When He searches your heart, it's not to condemn, it's to heal. His gaze is not a spotlight of judgment, but a flame of refinement. Fire doesn't come to destroy gold, it comes to reveal its purity. That's what God is doing in you, revealing what's real, burning away what's false. He has seen your compassion when no one thanked you. He has seen you choose mercy when you had reason for bitterness. He has seen the small acts of faith you thought went unnoticed. The watcher of hearts never overlooks what heaven values most. In every season, He's been writing your story with precision. Each heartbreak, each delay, each unanswered prayer, it's all been woven into purpose. You may not see the full pattern yet, but the threads are forming something divine. Think of how sunlight filters through stained glass. The image doesn't appear until light passes through the broken pieces. Your life, too, is a mosaic of fragments being illuminated by grace. What once felt shattered is being turned into a window through which others will see God's faithfulness. You've asked, why do I keep feeling unseen? Perhaps because God is teaching you that His approval outweighs the applause of people. The world looks for performance. Heaven looks for purity. And He is purifying your motives, making sure that when He elevates you, your heart will not be corrupted by pride. Chosen one. This searching season is sacred. Don't despise it. When God examines your heart, He isn't trying to expose you. He's inviting you to know yourself the way He knows you. The deeper He searches, the freer you become. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. The Watcher of Hearts is polishing your soul like a mirror, so His reflection can shine through you. Some nights, you may still feel the weight of old regrets. But remember, God doesn't keep records to shame you. He rewrites them with mercy. Every scar becomes a signature of grace. Every failure becomes the soil of future wisdom. And though you can't yet see what He sees, one day you'll look back and say, He knew my heart better than I did. He loved me through my confusion, not after it. Oh, so tonight, rest in this truth. You are fully known and still fully chosen. The Watcher of Hearts has examined you, and He still calls you worthy of His purpose. No audience could ever understand the depth of what you've carried, but heaven does. You are seen. You are loved. And even now, unseen hands are shaping your story for what's coming next. Let your heart rest in that knowing. The one who searches you also guards you. Every beat, every breath, every hidden ache, He is holding it all with divine tenderness and purpose. Chosen one. There is a quiet weight you've carried in silence, one few truly understand. You've smiled when your heart trembled. You've kept walking when your legs felt made of lead. You've spoken faith even when your voice shook. That silent strength has been your armor. But tonight heaven wants to lift what you've hidden beneath it. You've learned to survive with grace. But survival is not the same as peace. God doesn't just want you to keep going. He wants you to breathe again. There's something sacred about your tears, the ones no one saw. They have watered the soil of future joy. Heaven counts them, not as weakness, but as evidence that you still care, that your heart is still alive and beating with compassion. There was once a young woman named Mara, another chosen one. She had learned to be everyone's anchor, but she was drowning quietly inside. Every night she'd whisper, Lord, if you still hear me, show me I'm not forgotten. Days passed, then weeks. One morning she awoke to a message from an old friend who wrote simply, You've been on my mind. God says, you're not invisible. That one line broke her silence. She wept, not from sadness, but from relief. Heaven had heard her whisper. Maybe this moment is your message. 2. You've felt unseen for too long, but heaven has not missed a single sigh. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 25, anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up. This, right now, is that kind word. A reminder that God doesn't just watch you carry the weight, He steps under it with you. The one who shaped galaxies is leaning close to lift your spirit. Picture yourself as a lantern in a storm. The wind howls. Rien pour. Yet your flame refuses to die. You flicker, but you endure. That is what your faith looks like to heaven, fragile. Maybe. But inextinguished. God is not disappointed in your fatigue. He's proud of your endurance. Even when your prayers were whispers, He called them warfare. Every time you chose love instead of bitterness, you declared victory without realizing it. You don't have to pretend anymore. You can be honest with God and say, "I'm tired." He won't turn away. He'll draw closer. The weight you've carried was never meant to be permanent. It was training. You are learning how to surrender. Not because you failed, but because you're finally strong enough to trust. Chosen one. Peace is coming, not the kind that depends on everything going right, but the kind that makes sense even when nothing does. It's the calm that says, God is still here, and I don't have to carry this alone. If you could see what heaven sees, you'd understand that your load is about to become your light. What once pressed you down will soon lift others up. Every moment of heaviness is being recycled into healing for someone else. So breathe. Right now, where you are, exhale the worry. Inhale a grace. Let it fill your chest. Slow and deep. You are safe here. You are not behind. You are being rebuilt. When dawn breaks, you'll realize this was the night your strength quietly returned. If these words reach your heart, comment, "I lay it down." No, let that be your act of release. Not as ritual, but as recognition. When you type those words, it's not just a sentence, it's a shift. It means you've decided that the weight is no longer yours to carry. It belongs to the one who carries worlds without strain. Heaven takes note of every surrender. And when you let go, you make space for miracles to enter. Chosen one. The burden you've carried in silence will soon become the story that sets others free. You are not behind in life. You are right on time for what heaven is shaping in you. The waiting has not been wasted. It's been divine construction. What felt like delay was really design, building the depth that destiny requires. The world measures speed, God measures surrender. While others ran ahead, you were learning stillness. That stillness is about to become your secret strength. When God moves, He doesn't rush, He perfects. And you, chosen one, are being perfected in the hidden places. Every scar on your heart will soon shine as evidence of survival. What once hurt will become your language of healing for others. You are being prepared not just to rise, but to lead. Hold on, the dawn is near, and when it comes, you won't just step into the light, you'll become it. Your story will glow where darkness once lived. Chosen one. When mercy whispers your name, everything shifts. You may not hear thunder or see lightning, but something moves quietly in the spirit. Mercy doesn't shout, it draws close. It enters the room where shame once ruled, and suddenly the weight of condemnation loses its power. There have been seasons when you thought grace had run out. You convinced yourself that maybe this time you'd gone too far, failed too deeply, fallen too often. Yet here you are still breathing, still being pursued by a love that refuses to let go. That's not chance. That's mercy. God's mercy is not a gentle suggestion. It's a force that rewrites destinies. It shows up where judgment should have stood. It stands in the gap, saying, "Not yet. I still have plans for this one." No, you may not realize it, but you've been living under the covering of mercy your entire life. When accidents didn't happen, When doors closed that could have trapped you. When betrayals revealed truth instead of destroying you, that was mercy. It has been guarding your steps like invisible armor. As written in the book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 22, because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. Those words are not poetry, they are reality. If God's compassion had limits, none of us would have made it this far. But mercy is endless. It renews every morning, even when you don't feel worthy of sunrise. Think about that. Every day begins with brand new mercy. Not recycled, not reduced, brand new. Heaven doesn't ration grace. It pours it like a river that never runs dry. You can't out-sin God's forgiveness, and you can't outrun his love. There was a man named David, the shepherd who became a king. He made terrible mistakes, betrayal, deceit, pride, but every time he fell, he remembered one truth: mercy still calls my name. That awareness didn't make him careless, it made him humble. He learned that what keeps you standing after failure is not perfection, but repentance. Maybe you've been punishing yourself for something that mercy already forgave. You've replayed the moment, the mistake, the words you wish you could take back, but God is not holding them against you anymore. The only one who keeps reminding you of them is guilt, and guilt doesn't have the final word. Mercy does. Mercy doesn't erase the past, it redeems it. It takes what the enemy meant for shame and transforms it into testimony. That's why your story still matters. You are not disqualified by your scars. You are qualified by what you've survived. There's a rhythm to mercy, like waves on a shore. Every time you think you've gone too far, another wave arrives, washing over your fear. It doesn't demand you be perfect. It invites you to begin again. That is the heartbeat of heaven renewal, not rejection. Chosen one. Maybe you've been afraid to approach God again because you think you've disappointed him too many times. But he isn't shocked by your humanity. He designed you knowing every stumble, every doubt, every detour, and still said, I choose you. Mercy has been speaking your name while you slept. It has stood between you and destruction, between your pain and despair. It is not a distant idea. It's a living presence that walks beside you every step. There is a moment when mercy whispers louder than guilt. It sounds like peace in a storm, like the soft light after tears. When that moment comes, and it will, don't turn away. Let it wash you clean. The truth is, mercy is not weakness. It's power wrapped in gentleness. It doesn't ignore justice. It satisfies it through love. Every time you receive mercy, you become stronger, softer, and more aware of grace. You may not understand why God still believes in you, but that's what makes mercy divine. It loves beyond logic, heals beyond reason, and restores beyond explanation. So tonight, pause and listen. Can you hear it? That faint, familiar voice calling your name, not to judge, but to bring you home. That's mercy. And as you respond to it, something in the atmosphere changes. Shame loosens. Fear fades. Hope begins to breathe again. The same mercy that found you before will find you again, no matter where life takes you next. Because you were never meant to earn it, you were meant to receive it. You are not defined by what broke you. You are defined by the mercy that refused to let you stay broken. Chosen one. What you once thought was punishment has been refinement. The fire you walked through wasn't meant to destroy you. It was designed to reveal the strength that was already inside you. You didn't lose yourself in the flames. You found the parts of you that could never burn away. God has been shaping you like gold in a furnace. Every trial, every tear, every long night, none of it was wasted. Gold doesn't complain while it's in the fire. It knows the fire is proof of value. So don't curse the season that made you pure. Thank the God who stayed with you inside it. As the apostle reminds us in the first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 3, verse 13, each one's work will become clear, for the day will declare it, because it will be revealed by fire, and the fire will test what sort of work each has done. That fire you felt. It wasn't there to expose your weakness. It was heaven's forge, shaping your endurance, refining your faith until it gleamed. You came out stronger, wiser, and more surrendered. The heat didn't destroy you. It revealed your resilience. There was a man named Jaron who once begged God to remove his battles. He thought peace meant the absence of fire, but God whispered to him, "I don't remove flames from gold, I stay inside them with it." Jaron learned that peace isn't found by avoiding struggle, but by discovering God's presence in the middle of it. You, too, have walked through your own furnace. Every disappointment was fire, every betrayal, a spark, every unanswered prayer, a test of heat. Yet here you are still standing, still glowing, still breathing faith. Chosen one. The truth is this: fire doesn't change who you are. It proves who you've always been. There's something sacred about surviving what tried to end you. Like clay molded by unseen hands, you were pressed, stretched, and spun, but not shattered. What emerged is something heaven now calls priceless. The world may not see the cost of your endurance, but heaven keeps record of every scar. And now, as the flames subside, the shine of purpose begins to appear. It's in moments like these that light calls to light. We build one another's strength, not by demand, but by choice. The same way a single candle lights another without losing its own flame. We lift others simply by sharing what we have. That's why, if these words have touched you, if they've given you hope, comfort, or clarity, consider helping this message reach others who are still standing in their own fire, not because you must, but because you can. When you like this message, it's as if you place another log on the communal fire, letting its warmth reach farther into the cold. When you share, you send a spark across the darkness. Someone, somewhere, will see that light, and remember they're not alone. When you subscribe, you join a circle of embers that keep each other alive. Every new heart added makes the flame stronger. And if your heart ever moves you to donate, think of it as pouring a little oil into the lamp so it never goes out. It's not obligation, it's offering. A quiet partnership with the light itself. No one will ever be asked to give more than their heart allows. The same way a stream flows freely into the river, your generosity should always come from peace, not pressure. Every act of giving, small or great, is sacred when it's done with love. This space, this voice, this message, it exists so no chosen one feels alone in the dark. And through your simple acts of kindness, that light can travel farther than either of us can see. You've already given something precious tonight: your attention, your heart, your openness to truth. That is the first and greatest gift. Everything beyond that is simply overflow. So, if you ever feel prompted to keep this flow alive, do it only when it feels like joy, not duty. Give like rainfall freely, quietly, beautifully. The earth never forces the sky to rain, it simply receives it with gratitude. That's the spirit of giving. Heaven honors, not transaction, but connection. When you give from love, you become part of the miracle itself. Chosen one, your light has value. Your presence in this community matters. Each word you read, each moment you pause to reflect, adds strength to the whole. So as you move forward, remember this: the same God who refined you in the fire is now revealing you as gold. What was once hidden is about to shine. Let your faith keep burning bright. Let your story light another's path. And let every act of kindness, whether a word, a like, a share, a seed, or a gift, be your way of saying, I remember the fire, and I choose to shine. Because when we give light, darkness loses power, and somewhere, another chosen one finds the courage to rise again. Chosen one. Sometimes heaven sends a whisper before the storm breaks. You may not hear thunder or lightning, only that quiet pull deep in your chest, a stirring that refuses to be ignored. It isn't anxiety you're feeling, it's divine urgency. Heaven is calling your spirit to attention. There comes a time when waiting turns into wandering, when delay begins to rob destiny. You've been standing at the edge, feeling the push to step forward. Tonight, heaven is reminding you that this hesitation must end. It's not punishment you're sensing, it's protection calling you home to purpose. God is not trying to scare you, He's trying to awaken you. The warning in your heart is not the sound of judgment, it's the sound of mercy moving quickly. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 42, therefore keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. Chosen one. The time to wake up is now. Heaven's voice is getting louder in your spirit, not through chaos, but through clarity. Every thought that repeats, every dream that lingers, every nudge that won't go away, these are not coincidences. They are divine reminders that you've lingered long enough in one place. You've been sensing that something's shifting, haven't you? The things that used to satisfy no longer do. The circles you once fit into now feel too small. It's because your spirit is outgrowing what once contained it. You're not broken, you're being transformed. There was once a young man named Ezra who loved comfort more than calling. God kept prompting him to take a new path. But fear convinced him to wait. Over time, his peace faded, replaced by restlessness. One evening, as he prayed, a sentence formed in his spirit: if you keep waiting, the door will close. The next morning, he made the decision he'd delayed for years. That single act of obedience unlocked everything that had been waiting for him. You may not realize it yet, but this moment could be your Ezra moment. The whisper you keep feeling is heaven saying, move now, while the path is still open. The Spirit of God is stirring because there's alignment happening in the unseen. He's not asking for perfection, only response. Sometimes the smallest yes can shift an entire story. Heaven's timing is delicate but divine. A seed planted too early can die. One planted too late may never grow. But planted in the right season, it thrives. That's where you are now, the threshold of divine timing. You have prayed for clarity, This is it. The unrest in your heart is not confusion, it's confirmation. God is moving you out of hesitation into motion. Don't overthink it. Don't drown in the what ifs. God doesn't require a map from you. He only asks for a step. The bridge will appear beneath your feet when you begin to walk. There's a holy momentum rising. The Spirit is aligning people, places, and promises for your next chapter. All heaven needs from you is willingness. If this word resonates deep inside, if you feel your heart racing with recognition, comment 555. That number isn't random, it's prophetic. It symbolizes divine transition, transformation, and grace multiplied. The first 5 reminds you of grace that covers your past. The second 5 marks grace that strengthens your present. The third 5 declares grace that launches your future. Together, 555 becomes heaven's echo of "It's time." No, when you write that number, you're not typing digits, you're declaring movement. You're saying, "God, I'm done waiting for the perfect moment. I trust you now." It's an act of faith, small yet powerful. A digital altar built with obedience instead of stone. Heaven reads sincerity, not volume. The smallest step of trust echoes louder than 1,000 words of hesitation. Chosen one, you are standing at the edge of a divine turning point. What comes next depends not on how much you know, but on how willing you are to act. The window is open, the wind is shifting, and grace is waiting. This is not a warning meant to frighten you, it's a reminder that you are still chosen, still loved, still on schedule for destiny. Don't delay any longer. Heaven's whisper tonight is clear. Move, believe, and watch what unfolds before morning comes. You are standing in the moment between endings and beginnings. When you move, the heavens will move with you. Grace is already waiting on the other side. Trust that this shift is sacred. Every step you take in faith releases light into your path. The darkness won't follow you, it will flee. Chosen one. Every trial you have faced was never meant to break you. It was meant to unlock you. The power buried within you was waiting for the pressure to awaken it. Diamonds do not form in silence. They form under unrelenting heat. That same principle has been shaping your spirit. You have walked through storms that others could not have survived. You have endured nights when faith felt fragile and hope flickered like a dying candle. Yet even then, you didn't let it go out. You protected that small flame in your chest and whispered, "Maybe tomorrow will be better." That whisper was not weakness, it was warfare. God has seen how you stood when the winds of doubt howled around you. He watched when you refused to curse the season that tested you. Every tear you shed watered the ground of your own breakthrough. According to what is written in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 12, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him." Oh, that is heaven's truth about you. You have stood the test. And even if you stumbled, you never surrendered your spirit. Every wound became wisdom. Every loss became training. Every failure prepared your hands to hold blessing without breaking under its weight. There's a moment in every chosen life when strength stops being borrowed and starts being born. That's where you are now. You are no longer the version of yourself that merely survives. You are the one who will speak, and storms will still. You will walk into rooms and atmospheres will shift. The power within you is not noise or spectacle, it is steady fire. It glows beneath the surface, calm, yet unstoppable. Heaven didn't give you this light for applause, it gave it to you for assignment. You are an answer to someone's prayer. Somewhere, someone has been asking for hope, and you are part of God's response. That's why you couldn't quit, even when you wanted to. Destiny wouldn't let you disappear. Think of an eagle in training. When storms rise, young eagles try to hide, but mature ones spread their wings wider. They use the very wind meant to destroy them as the force that lifts them higher. That's you. The storm didn't come to end you, it came to teach you how to soar. There was a woman named Sarah who once cried, "God, why do you let me lose so much?" Heaven's reply came not in words, but in outcomes. Every loss she suffered cleared room for something stronger. One day, she looked around and realized the emptiness had become space for expansion. The fire that once terrified her had become the very light guiding her. Chosen one, your hidden power is not arrogance or pride. It is quiet, authority born from pain. You have earned the right to speak peace into chaos because you've lived through chaos and remained whole. You can comfort the broken because you know what it feels like to be shattered and restored. You are walking proof that light can live in fragile vessels. There will come a time when what you carry will no longer fit in secret. People will begin to notice something different, an unexplainable calm, a grace that cannot be taught, a strength that feels like peace instead of striving. That's divine power revealed through humility. Don't mistake gentleness for weakness. Gentleness is strength disciplined. The same fire that refines you will someday flow through your words, healing others the way it once healed you. Every chosen one must go through this awakening, the moment when you realize that what you feared losing was never meant to be kept. What remains after the storm is your true self, pure, enduring, unstoppable. And now, heaven is whispering that your training season is coming to completion. You have carried pain like armor, soon you will wear peace like a crown. The same hands that once trembled in uncertainty will now carry healing. The same voice that once whispered prayers for help will soon speak words that free others. You were never powerless. You were being prepared. Chosen one. Don't rush this awakening. Let it unfold. The light you carry is ancient. The strength you hold, eternal. Heaven has entrusted it to you because you proved faithful when no one was watching. Your hidden power is rising now, steady and bright. It will not shout, it will simply shine. And when it does, darkness will recognize you, not as the one who barely made it, but as the one who carries divine fire in human form. Chosen one. The darkness has never stopped whispering. It studies you, waiting for the moments when you feel weary. Unseen or uncertain, it does not attack at your strongest. It waits for your solitude, your silence, your questions. Yet even there, light has never stopped defending you. You've heard those inner voices before. You're not enough. You've failed too many times. If God really loved you, this wouldn't be happening. They sound like your thoughts, but they are not your truth. The enemy does not need to destroy you. He only needs to make you doubt who you are. When lies echo long enough, they begin to sound familiar. That's how darkness works, through distortion, through imitation. It twists memories, exagérate pas, and convinces you that your wounds define you. But you are not your wounds. You are what has survived them. We find in the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." This isn't poetic metaphor, it's spiritual reality. The battle isn't around you, it's inside you. The battlefield is your mind. That's where darkness wages its quiet war, where every thought becomes a weapon or a shield. You've felt those invisible attacks, the sudden heaviness, the unexplained fear, the nights when hope feels far away. That isn't weakness, it's warfare. The enemy doesn't attack what isn't valuable. He fears your potential because he knows what will happen if you ever see yourself the way heaven sees you. There was a man named Cael who spent years believing he was cursed. Everything he tried seemed to crumble. He'd say, "Maybe I'm just not meant to succeed." But one night, exhausted from his own self-doubt, he whispered, "God, if there's still something inside me worth saving, show me." In that stillness, peace washed over him like soft rain. The next morning, nothing external had changed, but he was different. The war had shifted because he stopped fighting himself and started fighting for himself. That's where victory begins, when you stop agreeing with lies and start aligning with truth. Chosen one. Your greatest enemy is not failure. It's forgetting who you are. You were built for victory. Your existence alone terrifies darkness because it means light is still active in this world. The voices that once accused you will lose power as soon as you start speaking truth aloud. Light doesn't argue with darkness, it replaces it. When fear says, "You can't," say, "I already did." When guilt whispers, "You're unworthy," answer, "I've been redeemed." Every truth you speak cuts chains you didn't even know existed. The enemy's lies are fragile things. They survive only in silence. The moment you bring them into light, they disintegrate. That's why the darkness wants you quiet. It fears the sound of your awakening. Think of a room left in shadow for years. The moment someone opens the window, dust swirls, shadows scatter, and everything that once looked threatening becomes visible and harmless. That's what truth does. It doesn't remove the room, it restores your sight. You've been learning to see clearly again, to separate the voices of fear from the voice of God. The former condemns, the latter corrects. Fear says, "You're finished." God says, "You're beginning." And even when you fall, heaven doesn't withdraw. Grace stands beside you, ready to lift you up. The proof that you still hear conviction means light still lives in you. Chosen one. Never underestimate the quiet power of awareness. Recognizing the enemy's tactic is the first act of victory. Every time you choose peace over panic, every time you silence accusation with faith, you are winning battles unseen. Darkness knows your name, but it also knows your boundaries. You are surrounded by a covering it cannot cross. You've been marked by light, sealed by purpose. No curse, nolje. No voice can override what heaven has spoken over you. Your presence disrupts deception. When you walk into a room, truth enters with you. When you pray, chain loosen. When you speak hope, shadows recoil. You are not fragile. You are feared by the very things that once frightened you. So do not let the whispers of darkness dictate your story. Their only strength is the silence you give them. Stand tall, breathe deep, and remember this: every lie you've ever fought was only confirmation of how powerful you already are. The darkness only targets what carries light. And you, chosen one, are a walking flame, steady, holy, unstoppable. Chosen one, you are standing at a crossroads, the sacred space between what has been and what must become. You can feel it, can't you? That gentle unrest, that whisper in your chest that keeps saying, "It's time." You've been circling the same mountain long enough. Heaven is waiting for your decision. Every destiny demands a moment of courage. This is yours. The crossroads isn't punishment, it's invitation. God isn't testing your strength, He's revealing it. As spoken in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19, I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you may live. Life is not only about breathing, it's about choosing. Every yes you give heaven echoes across generations, and every no to fear opens a door to freedom. You've been praying for signs, but sometimes the sign is the stirring itself, the awareness that you can't stay where you are. That restlessness isn't rebellion, it's revelation. It means your spirit is ready to advance. There was a woman named Lyra. For years, she lived in hesitation, always waiting for confirmation. She prayed, "God, show me the way." But deep down she already knew it. Fear kept her anchored to familiar pain. One morning, she woke with a clear thought: staying is also a choice. That sentence broke something in her. Within weeks, she stepped into what she'd delayed for years, and peace followed. The moment she moved, the miracle met her halfway. You are standing in that same space. Chosen one. The path before you might not be fully visible, but it doesn't need to be. Heaven never hands out blueprints, only directions. Faith fills in the rest. Choosing faith will always feel risky. It means releasing what you can touch for what you can trust. But remember, your comfort zone is too small for your calling. What feels safe is often the very thing limiting your destiny. God's call isn't always a roar. Sometimes, it's the gentle push that makes you uncomfortable enough to change. If He's unsettling your surroundings, it's because He's preparing new ground beneath your feet. There's beauty in the unknown, because that's where God's fingerprints are most visible. You've seen His faithfulness before, you'll see it again. Every time you've taken a step in faith, He's met you there. That pattern hasn't changed. Chosen one. The fear of falling is normal. But what if you were made to fly? What if all this hesitation has only been the stretch before the leap? The wind you're feeling isn't resistance, it's the breath of heaven preparing to carry you. You've come too far to turn back. The pain you've endured has already paid for your preparation. You are equipped for the next step. You just need to take it. Some doors won't open until your foot hits the threshold. Some blessings won't arrive until obedience begins. God is not withholding, He's waiting. And the moment you move, heaven will move with you. This is the moment to decide who you will be from this point on, the one who hesitated, or the one who stepped forward, the one who feared what could go wrong, or the one who trusted what could go right. The future isn't waiting for perfect people, it's waiting for willing ones. And you are ready. If these words resonate deep in your heart, if you feel that pull of decision rising in you, comment, "I choose." No, Say it not as a phrase, but as a declaration. You're not just typing words, you're aligning your spirit. I choose means I will not let fear define me. It means I will move even when I don't have all the answers. It's heaven's favorite kind of faith, honest, trembling, but obedient. The power of choice is the power of creation. Every decision toward light rewrites your story. Every act of courage creates a ripple of healing far beyond you. Chosen one, you've waited long enough. The crossroad will not wait forever. The moment you say yes, the ground beneath you will shift, and the way forward will appear as if it had been waiting for your step all along. Choose faith. Choose life. Choose light. The rest will follow. When you say, I choose, you are not just agreeing with words, you are stepping into alignment with heaven's rhythm. The universe itself responds when faith speaks. Doors once closed begin to open, and paths once hidden unfold beneath your feet. Every choice toward light reshapes your atmosphere. Heaven honors movement, not perfection. When you choose courage over comfort, God multiplies your small step into a story of divine transformation. Chosen one. There are seasons when heaven's plan feels invisible, when every door seems to close, when silence feels heavier than answers. You've questioned whether you missed your moment, whether your purpose expired while you waited, but nothing God ordains ever expires. Delay is not denial, it's design. You were chosen for a divine assignment that requires depth, and depth takes time. Before gold crowns a king, it must first pass through fire. Before rain fills the earth, clouds must first break apart. Your waiting season has not been wasted. It has been shaping you into the kind of vessel heaven can trust with holy work. As written in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who are called by his purpose. You were called according to purpose, not preference. God's calling doesn't adjust to convenience. It molds you through the unexpected. Every moment that confused you was a classroom. Every detour was a divine redirection. There was a man named Royal who once told God, I will follow you when I'm ready. He waited for the perfect moment when finances were stable, when confidence was high, when life made sense. But years passed, and still, nothing felt perfect. One night, he realized that the waiting itself was costing him the future he prayed for. So he moved one shaky step, and everything began aligning in ways he never imagined. Chosen one. Your assignment will never fit into comfort. Purpose is a wild river. It flows where it must, not where it's easy. You can stand safely on the bank, or you can step in and feel the current of destiny pull you into something greater. You've been entrusted with a task that might not look grand, but heaven counts it as sacred. A kind word, a prayer whispered in faith, an act of forgiveness. These are not small things. They are divine seeds scattered across eternity. You may not see the full harvest of your obedience, but others will. Every yes you give God becomes shade for someone else's struggle. Chosen one. You are part of heaven's great network of light. When one shines, others find their way. That's why staying connected matters. When you like this message, you're not just clicking a button, you're adding a spark to a shared flame that keeps growing brighter. Your small act tells unseen hearts. you're not alone. And when you share, it's like tossing a bottle into the vast ocean of souls. Somewhere, a weary traveler will find it, open it, and see hope waiting inside. When you subscribe, you're not joining a list, you're joining a fellowship of fire. Every time you return, you add your warmth to this circle of light. And if your heart ever moves you to donate, don't see it as payment, see it as partnership. Imagine a single drop joining a river. It disappears only to expand its reach. Your offering, no matter how small, becomes a current that carries this message farther than either of us could go alone. Nothing in heaven is wasted, not words, not actions, not generosity. When you give, even quietly, it's like planting a candle in the dark. You may never meet the person who finds light because of it, but heaven records the glow. Every act of support is a way of saying, "Let there be light." It's not a transaction, it's transformation. And transformation never happens through pressure, only through love. If tonight your heart feels stirred, let that feeling be your guide. This isn't about doing something because you must. It's about responding to what already resonates. Giving, whether through attention, kindness, or provision, becomes a mirror of divine generosity itself. The same way rain doesn't choose where to fall. Let your goodness flow freely, not forced, not planned, just natural. That's how heaven works. And that's how purpose sustains itself. Chosen one. Your assignment is not small. Your presence not random. The kingdom moves when hearts like yours align with heaven's rhythm. And as you keep walking, remember this: everything you do from love returns multiplied. Every drop of kindness you release eventually finds its way back to you, cleansed, brighter, and more beautiful than before. You are part of something holy, a flow of light that keeps spreading. One heart, one act, one soul at a time. So let your story keep shining. Let your faith keep giving. And let your life be the evidence that even the smallest flame can guide countless others home. Chosen one. Not everyone who started with you was meant to finish with you. There comes a time in every divine journey when separation is not loss, it's protection. Heaven removes what can't walk where you're going. The pruning you felt lately is not rejection, it's alignment. You've wondered why certain people drifted away, why conversations once full of warmth now feel empty. You've blamed yourself, tried to fix what kept breaking. But sometimes love means letting go. When God begins to shift the landscape around you, He's not punishing you, He's preparing the ground for new growth, as revealed in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 2. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit He takes away, and every branch that bears fruit He prunes, that it may bear more fruit. Then, this truth can sting, but it is mercy in disguise. God never cuts without purpose. The pruning knife is sharp but loving. He knows what you cannot yet see, that some attachments, no matter how familiar, will wither the moment you step into greater light. It's difficult when people who once celebrated you suddenly cannot stand your growth. Sometimes it's because your light exposes what they've tried to hide. Sometimes it's because your calling reminds them of theirs. Not everyone can handle what heaven has placed on you. And that's not arrogance, it's awareness. There was a young woman named Naida who clung tightly to every friendship, terrified of being alone. When people left, She saw it as failure. But one day, God whispered, "You can't carry everyone into the next season. The mountain narrows as you rise." That image changed her life. She realized that higher paths are thinner paths. You can love people without taking them everywhere God sends you. Chosen one. Loneliness in a divine journey is not absence, it's clarity. When the crowd thins, the voice of God becomes clearer. You begin to hear direction in silence, strength in solitude, and confirmation in peace. God is simplifying your circle because He's amplifying your calling. The distractions that once consumed your energy are being stripped away, not to make you smaller, but to make your focus stronger. It's painful when familiar voices fade, but if you look closely, you'll notice that with every person who left, peace entered the space they once occupied. The silence they left behind isn't emptiness, it's breathing room. It's where God builds your next instruction. Even Jesus experienced this. He loved many, but trusted few. He healed crowds, yet only brought 3 to the mountain of transfiguration. Some parts of glory are not meant for everyone to witness. The deeper your calling, the smaller your circle must become. You are not being isolated, you are being insulated. God is wrapping you in quiet, so that when He speaks, nothing interferes. It may feel like separation, but it's sanctification. Think of a tree before spring. From the outside, it looks bare, stripped, lifeless. But beneath the bark, sap is rising, preparing to burst forth in new leaves and fruit. The cutting of winter is what ensures the beauty of spring. That's your life right now. The pruning feels harsh, but growth is happening in secret. Soon, everything that once hurt will bloom into understanding. You will thank God for the relationships that ended, the doors that closed, the seasons that shifted, because without them, you would never have become this strong, this focused, this free. Chosen one. Forgiveness is your weapon in this season. Don't let bitterness grow where pruning already took place. Bless those who misunderstood you. Release those who left you. And trust that heaven is keeping your path pure. God knows how to bring the right people back at the right time. Some relationships are not broken, they're being rewritten when the timing aligns with maturity. Restoration will come naturally, but until then, walk forward without resentment. You are learning the sacred art of detachment, not coldness, but clarity. You love deeply, but you no longer chase what was never meant to stay. That's spiritual maturity. So when the nights feel quieter and the table feels smaller, remember this: it's not that you've lost company, it's that you've gained intimacy with heaven. Your circle is changing because your purpose is expanding. And one day, you'll look back and realize that every departure made room for destiny to sit closer. Those who left were never your ending. They were part of your unfolding. What remains is sacred, purified by divine timing, perfectly aligned with who you're becoming. Now, walk lighter, carry peace instead of people, carry purpose instead of pain. Heaven is surrounding you with those who match your new season, not your old wounds. Chosen one. There are moments when heaven draws near, through signs so personal they almost feel secret. Moments when something ordinary suddenly glows with meaning. A conversation that lingers in your spirit. A song that finds you at just the right time. A sudden calm that replaces the chaos in your mind. These are not coincidences. They are divine fingerprints on your story. You've asked for signs before. Maybe you thought they never came. But God's voice is rarely loud, it's subtle, steady, patient. He doesn't shout over the noise of the world. He waits for you to grow quiet enough to hear him. The signs have been there all along, woven into your days like threads of light between shadows, as spoken in the book of Job, chapter 33, verses 14 to 15. For God speaks in one way, and in two, though people do not perceive it, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on men. Look, the Creator speaks in gentle repetition, through dreams, through the timing of events, through a sudden peace that makes no sense. That nudge you've been feeling, the one that says, pay attention. That's heaven's way of pulling your focus to something sacred. A chosen one named Selah once felt abandoned in her waiting season. She had prayed for confirmation, begged for proof that her prayers hadn't vanished into the void. One evening, as she sat near her window, she saw 3 white feathers drift from the night sky, landing at her feet. She didn't know why, but peace flooded her chest. The next day, a long-awaited message arrived, the breakthrough she'd prayed for months earlier. Later, she realized the feathers weren't random. They were heaven's whisper saying, "You are seen." End quote. That's how God works. He doesn't always send miracles wrapped in thunder. Sometimes, He wraps them in the quiet rhythm of your own life. Chosen one, heaven is preparing to send you a sign meant only for your eyes, your spirit, your season. It will not be loud, but it will be clear. It won't impress the crowd, but it will still your soul. You might notice something small, a number that keeps appearing, a line in a song that feels like an answer, a moment of stillness where your heart suddenly understands what your mind couldn't. That is how heaven speaks, through what others overlook. You don't have to chase it. You don't have to force it. Just stay open. Stay still enough to recognize when God's hand moves across the ordinary. Heaven speaks through patterns not to confuse you, but to remind you that divine order exists even when life feels chaotic. Every repetition has a reason. Every echo has a message. And this one, the one reaching you now, is saying, "I have not forgotten you." The confirmation coming your way is not for validation, it's for peace. You already belong to the divine plan. The sign will simply be heaven's gentle reminder that everything is still on schedule. When it arrives, it may not come with drama. It may come in peace. It may come in tears. It may come as quiet understanding. But when you feel that moment, whisper to yourself, "That was you, Lord." If this message resonates deep within you, if your heart beats a little faster because you know this word is yours, comment 999. Oh, that number carries deep prophetic weight. It represents completion, divine closure, and new beginnings born out of endings. The first 9 speaks of release, what you must let go of to make room for better. The second 9 represents refinement, the final shaping before reward. The third 9 declares fulfillment, the arrival of what was promised. Together, 999 means heaven's work in you is nearing its fullness. When you write it, you're not seeking a miracle. You're agreeing with what heaven has already finished. You're declaring, "I trust the process. Even when I don't see the pattern." You're saying, "I believe the sign will find me, and I'll know when it does." Chosen one. Before the next sunrise, Something gentle will confirm this word. It may not look supernatural to anyone else, but to you, it will be undeniable. You are entering the season of divine completion. The waiting is ending. The sign is coming. And when it arrives, you will finally understand why heaven was silent. It was busy arranging the perfect moment to speak. When it happens, breathe it in. Don't rush to explain it, just receive it. Let peace anchor where fear once lived. The sign isn't proof of worth, it's proof of love, heaven's quiet way of saying, you were never forgotten. No, chosen one. There is a change happening around you that cannot yet be seen with natural eyes. It is not chaos, it is construction. Heaven is fortifying you, clothing you in light that does not fade. The storms that once bruised you are now building your armor. What you carry within is sacred, and God is ensuring that nothing can pierce it. You've endured enough wounds to know what pain feels like. But now heaven is dressing you in peace that nothing can steal. As written in the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 12, the night is nearly over, the day is almost here. So let us put aside the deeds of darkness and put on the armor of light. This isn't poetic language, it's prophecy. You are being fitted for a different kind of strength, not the strength of resistance, but the strength of radiant peace. The armor of light isn't made of metal, it's made of truth, forgiveness, and love that endures even when unreturned. You once wore heaviness like a shield. You believed you had to protect yourself with silence, distance, or hardness, but that armor was forged in fear, and it became too heavy to carry. Now God is replacing it with something weightless, glory woven from gentleness, courage, and wisdom. Every battle you've survived has been preparing you for this. The words that once wounded you now bounce harmlessly off. The opinions that once crushed you now dissolve before reaching your heart. You are being covered in divine resilience. There was a man named Elias who used to dread conflict. Every criticism, every betrayal, felt like a sword cutting through his soul. One night, weary from the constant pain of being misunderstood, he prayed, "Lord, make me unbreakable." The next months were not easy. He faced deeper challenges than ever before. But slowly, something changed. He stopped reacting out of fear. Peace became his armor. Years later, he realized that God hadn't made him hard, he had made him whole. That is what heaven is doing in you. Wholeness is stronger than walls. Light is stronger than defense. Chosen one, you have been through seasons that required survival. But now you are entering one that requires stability. You are not meant to keep fighting every shadow. You are meant to shine until shadows disappear. Your armor isn't for aggression, it's for endurance. Light does not compete with darkness. It simply stands, and darkness retreats. The same will happen with you. When you walk into places filled with heaviness, you will not be overwhelmed. The atmosphere will shift because you arrived carrying light that darkness cannot imitate. There will be people who do not understand your calm, who mistake your peace for passivity, but do not defend it, demonstrate it. True strength is silent, steady, and sure. It is the storm's calm eye that holds everything together. The armor of light makes you untouchable in ways no weapon can. It guards your joy from bitterness, your faith from doubt, your vision from fear. When you wear it, you stop being a target, you become a testimony. Think of the moon. It has no light of its own. It only reflects the sun. Yet, in the darkest night, the moon rules the sky. That's what you are becoming, a reflection of divine radiance in a world that has forgotten what real light feels like. Even your presence will start to carry peace into rooms that have forgotten how to rest. People won't understand why they feel calmer around you. They'll just know that something holy surrounds you. That is the evidence of your armor. It doesn't shout, it shines. And just like armor protects a soldier in battle, this covering will protect your heart in purpose. You won't crumble under criticism anymore. You won't lose yourself in chaos. You won't mistake noise for direction. Chosen one. You are being sealed, not in isolation, but in illumination. God is setting you apart, not to make you lonely, but to make you luminous. There's a reason light travels faster than sound. It speaks first. Wherever you go next, your light will arrive before your words. People will feel heaven before they hear you. The days ahead will still have challenges, but you'll move through them differently, not from fear, but from fullness. The armor of light does not remove battle. It ensures victory before it begins. So stand tall. You have been through the refining fire, and now heaven is clothing you in radiance. Every scar is covered in purpose, every bruise in grace. You are not fragile anymore. You are fortified. And when the night seems longest, remember this: dawn is not delayed. It's gathering strength. And you, chosen one, are being prepared to meet it, clothed in the brilliance of divine light. Chosen one. There are battles that do not begin with you, but end with you. Some of the pain you've carried isn't personal, it's generational. It's the echo of what your ancestors endured, but could never resolve. The heaviness you've felt at times, the recurring patterns, the invisible resistance, it all points to something ancient being broken through you. You were chosen not only to walk in blessing, but to end the cycles that have kept your bloodline bound. The tears you've shed in silence were never just for yourself. They have been cleansing the roots of your lineage. As declared in the book of Isaiah, chapter 58, verse 12, your people will rebuild the ancient ruins and will raise up the age-old foundations. You will be called the repairer of broken walls, the restorer of streets to dwell in. No, that verse was written for souls like yours, those born with hearts heavy and hands strong enough to rebuild what others left behind. You are not cursed, you are commissioned. The weight on your shoulders is not punishment, it's inheritance being purified. Think of it like this: every generation hands down both blessings and battles. Some pass wisdom, others pass wounds. But somewhere in every bloodline, God plants one person who says, "It ends with me." You are that person. There was a man named Joel who grew up watching anger destroy his family. He swore he'd never become like them. But as life tested him, the same temper began to rise. One night, after an argument that left him trembling, he wept and said, "God, I can't keep repeating this." The next morning, peace came, not instantly, but like a quiet strength settling inside him. Over time, he began to choose silence instead of shouting, prayer instead of pride. Years later, his children grew up, never knowing the rage that once ruled his home. Joel didn't just change his life, he changed his lineage. That's what you're doing too. You are interrupting what history expected. You are standing between the past that tried to claim you and the future that belongs to you. Generational chains often disguise themselves as personality traits, fear that runs in the family, poverty that seems normal, heartbreak that repeats, addiction that cycles. But God has placed a sword of light in your hand, and every act of faith you take cuts through what once held generations captive. This breaking isn't loud, it's internal. It happens when you forgive what others refuse to face. It happens when you refuse to repeat what once destroyed your peace. Each time you choose differently, something in the unseen shifts. Chosen one, you are heaven's interruption. Your life is rewriting your family's story. The same God who saw your ancestors' pain is now using your obedience to redeem their prayers. Some of the blessings you will walk into were planted by those who never lived to see them bloom. You are their answer. You might feel the weight of the battle, but remember, you are not fighting alone. Heaven is backing every decision you make to walk in light. Angels guard the territory you reclaim with your courage. The same power that raised Christ from the dead is pulsing in your spirit each time you say, "No more." Breaking chains does not mean breaking people. It means refusing to carry what no longer belongs to you. The shame, the fear, the silence, you are releasing them all. Your lineage will no longer echo with pain but with praise. You are becoming the living proof that redemption runs deeper than inheritance. That grace can rewrite DNA. That one surrendered soul can shift the course of generations. There's a quiet dignity in this kind of battle. It's fought through forgiveness more than force, through prayer more than noise. It's the war of choosing peace when anger seems justified, of choosing love when bitterness feels easier. And though few will understand the depth of what you've endured, heaven keeps perfect record. Every time you rise again, a chain falls somewhere you can't see. Chosen one, you have been trusted with the power to end what others began in pain. The history books of heaven already bear your name as a restorer. You are not just surviving, you are reconstructing sacred foundations. One day, those who come after you will stand in freedom they never had to fight for. And heaven will whisper, "It was because you chose to break what bound them." And when they speak of strength, they will unknowingly speak of you, the one who faced what others feared and turned battlefields into blessings. Your courage will echo long after your name is gone. Chosen one, you are standing at the threshold of fulfillment, the narrow space where promise meets obedience. You can feel it, can't you? That quiet pull between what is and what is about to be. The air around you has changed. Heaven is holding its breath because the moment you've prepared for is drawing near. Every act of faith, every hidden prayer, every tear you never spoke aloud has been building to this. The crown of obedience isn't gold or visible glory, it's peace. It's the stillness that comes from knowing you didn't give up when it would have been easier to walk away. As written in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 9, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord is with you." That's the voice of heaven echoing through your heart right now. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, "I will keep going." And every time you choose to trust, you're placing another jewel on the unseen crown that God Himself is crafting for you. You've spent seasons misunderstood, mocked for your waiting, questioned for your faith. Yet you stood firm. What others called delay, heaven called development. Now, the soil that once felt barren is about to bloom. You are stepping into answered prayers not as a surprise, but as a reward. There was a woman named Amara who obeyed when it made no sense. She gave, served, forgave, and stayed when everyone else left. Years passed, and nothing seemed to change. But one morning, peace met her. Before daylight did, she said, "I finally understand. The waiting was never wasted." That day, doors opened she hadn't even knocked on. Obedience had built a bridge she couldn't see. Chosen one. Your bridge is built too. You've walked by faith when sight failed you, and heaven is about to honor that trust. This message isn't about striving, it's about surrender. The most powerful victories don't come from fighting harder, they come from resting deeper. You are entering that rest now. And as this moment finds you, let's speak of something sacred, how we keep the flame alive together. This space, this voice, this rhythm of words, they're not just messages, they're a gathering of light bearers. Every time you feel seen here, it's because heaven moves through unity. When you like this message, imagine it as a candle lifted higher, one more flame, glowing brighter, helping another soul see their own reflection in the dark. When you share, think of it as releasing a bird carrying hope on its wings. It may land on a window you'll never see, but it will sing comfort to someone who needs it most. When you subscribe, you're not joining a list, you're stepping closer to the warmth of a shared fire. Every visit, every heartbeat of connection keeps the circle alive. If you ever feel led to comment, let it flow like a note cast into the river. Your words ripple outward, reaching unseen hearts that need to hear. You are not alone. Oh, and if ever your heart feels stirred to donate, let it be like watering a field that has fed your spirit, not because you owe it, but because you love what it grows. Every drop sustains the soil, so another chosen one might find their dawn through these words. None of this is a demand, it's devotion. Giving, in any form, is simply gratitude in motion. It's how light learns to multiply. Your obedience, your presence, your support, all of it builds a bridge between heaven and earth. It tells the world, there is still light, and I choose to keep it burning. Chosen one, your crown isn't made of what the world applauds. It's formed from every quiet yes whispered when no one was watching. Each act of love, each moment of endurance, each seed of kindness has been woven into something eternal. You may not see it now, but heaven does. Angels record your faithfulness as music, and God Himself smiles upon your resilience. So tonight, breathe deeply. The weight on your shoulders is not burden, it's blessing taking form. The journey has been long, but the reward is near. Stand firm, glowing with grace. Let your obedience continue to sing, and let your life remain a living invitation to hope. You've carried the fire this far, now share it. However you feel, led, like the candle, the bird, the stream, it all flows naturally from love. And when the dawn rises over your next chapter, you will see that every act of faith, every spark of giving, every whispered yes was never forgotten. It was all part of your crown, the quiet, radiant reward of the obedient heart. Chosen one. Morning is near. The long night you've endured has not been wasted. Every silent hour, every unanswered prayer, Every tear that fell unseen, they have all been recorded in the eternal ledger of grace. Heaven never forgets faith that endures. The dawn of reward is not just about blessing, it's about revelation. God is about to reveal what the waiting has been building. You thought the delays meant denial, but they were construction, the unseen architecture of destiny forming in silence. As written in the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 35. So do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded. This promise is alive within you. It is the quiet pulse that has kept you moving forward when logic said, stop. You've kept believing, even when faith felt like an empty echo. That is what heaven honors, not perfection, but persistence. For a long time, you've planted seeds that seemed forgotten, acts of kindness that went unnoticed, prayers whispered for others who never said thank you. But the harvest is near. The same God who saw your labor in secret is now preparing to honor it in public. There was a woman named Hela who prayed faithfully for her family's restoration. Years passed with no change. Some nights she almost gave up, whispering, maybe it's not meant to be. But one morning, she woke with an unexplainable peace. Hours later, she received a message from her brother, the one she hadn't spoken to in 5 years. The first word he wrote was, home. Hela wept, realizing that God had been working long after she stopped watching. Chosen one, your story is entering that same kind of divine completion. You've done the work. You've endured the silence. And heaven is now responding in its perfect time. When God rewards, He does not repay measure for measure, He multiplies. What you lost in one season returns multiplied in the next. What was withheld out of mercy is restored out of love. You may not recognize the first signs of your reward because they won't come as fireworks, they'll come as peace. Peace is always the first fruit of fulfillment. It's the calm before blessing bursts into visibility. There's a reason heaven moves slowly. It builds deeply. God never gives you what you're not ready to sustain. That's why you had to wait. Why doors had to stay closed until your heart was strong enough to hold what's behind them. The world calls it timing. Heaven calls it mercy. The slower the construction, the stronger the foundation. You've walked through valleys that no one saw, through doubts you didn't voice, through nights when even prayer felt dry. But every step you took, even the trembling ones, counted as faith. Heaven counted them as worship. When the reward arrives, you'll realize that God wasn't just giving you things, He was giving you wisdom. The very pain that felt unbearable became the soil where understanding grew. Chosen one, be ready to recognize your blessing in new shapes. Some rewards will look like release, others will come as restoration, and some will arrive disguised as redirection. Not every blessing looks like arrival. Sometimes it looks like freedom. The dawn of reward doesn't erase your scars, it gives them meaning. Every wound becomes a window where light now shines through. Every place that once felt broken now glows with grace. The favor coming your way is not for applause, it's for purpose. God rewards you not to elevate your pride, but to expand your reach. You will become a vessel of comfort, carrying wisdom into the lives of others who are still waiting in their own dark hours. You'll begin to notice how everything connects: the storms that humbled you, the silences that disciplined you, the grace that restored you. All of it was heaven's preparation for a life that reflects divine steadiness. And when the first light of reward finally breaks across your horizon, you'll know it instantly. It won't need to be announced. Your spirit will recognize it like a long-lost song returning to memory. Chosen one, you've waited long and walked far. But the morning truly is near. The horizon is glowing faintly, even now. Hold your peace. Keep your hope steady. What you prayed for in tears, you will soon hold in joy. The season of proving is ending. The season of revealing is here. And when why? The first light you see will not just touch the sky, it will touch you. You'll realize the dawn wasn't coming to you, it was coming from you. Everything you've endured has prepared your heart to hold peace without fear. Now, step forward quietly. Your reward is already unfolding with every breath. Chosen one. The moment has come, the final awakening. The long night has completed its purpose, and the first light of destiny is breaking across your horizon. You are no longer who you were when the journey began. You have been refined, restored, and revealed. Heaven has sealed your heart and steadied your steps for what lies ahead. Everything you have walked through, every tear, every trial, every silence has shaped the voice of your purpose. You've been transformed not by ease, but by endurance. God has written His strength into the places that once trembled. Where you once carried wounds, you now carry wisdom. Where there was fear, there is now authority. As spoken in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. And those words are not only history, they are prophecy over you. You have fought the good fight, not with weapons of war, but with the armor of patience and love. You have run your race. Even when the path vanished in shadow, you have kept your faith. Even when heaven seemed silent, now the seal of the chosen rests upon you. It is not visible ink, it is the quiet, knowing that you were never abandoned, only prepared. You've crossed through the valley and emerged, not broken, but burning. The fire that once tested you has now become the light within you. You carry divine brilliance, and the world will begin to feel it long before you speak it. Chosen one. You've stepped into the era where everything hidden becomes holy. The same places that once brought pain will now produce peace. What once felt like loss will become legacy. There was a man named Corin who lived years trying to prove his worth. He chased recognition, but every achievement felt hollow. One night, overwhelmed by emptiness, he prayed, God, I just want to be whole. In the quiet, a thought came, stop running, you're already found. That night, he didn't gain anything tangible. Yet he woke lighter, radiant, complete. True fulfillment wasn't a finish line, it was the discovery that heaven had been walking with him all along. That same truth rests on you now. The purpose you've been searching for isn't something far ahead, it's the presence already within. You have become what you were always meant to be, a vessel of light, a bridge between heaven and earth. Your journey was never about arrival, it was about awakening. You have awakened. The seal of the chosen is not a mark of superiority, it's a reminder of stewardship. You carry light, not for pride, but for people. You have been entrusted with peace, so you can extend it. You have been healed, so you can become a place of healing. Every step from here is sacred ground. Wherever you walk, you bring the presence of divine remembrance. The heavens recognize you. The earth responds to you, and the shadows retreat before you. Chosen one. Don't fear what's next. You were born for next. The same hand that led you through wilderness now points you toward wonder. The same voice that whispered in darkness now calls you by name in daylight. You will begin to notice a quiet strength following you, doors opening naturally, conversations aligning effortlessly, peace replacing striving. That's the rhythm of someone walking in sync with heaven. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer wander, you flow. Your life has become a current of divine timing, and when doubt occasionally whispers, "Have you really changed?" you'll smile, because you'll feel the difference not in your circumstances, but in your spirit. The old weight is gone. The striving has ceased. The war has ended. Chosen one. The dawn you've been waiting for isn't coming, it's already here. The light rising over your horizon is not borrowed, it's your own reflection. You are heaven's reminder to the world that redemption is real, that faith works, that love wins. From this moment forward, walk as one who knows they are sealed, protected, prepared, and positioned. The mark you carry is invisible but unmistakable. Wherever you go, peace will follow. You are not just surviving anymore, you are sovereign in spirit. The chosen are not merely spared, they are sent. And now, you are being sent forth with new vision, new grace, and new glory. Heaven has completed its work in you. The seal is set. The light is alive, and your purpose is unstoppable. The morning has come, and you, chosen one, have become the sunrise itself. Chosen one, you have reached the end of this journey. But this isn't an ending, it's a continuation. What began as words has now become awakening. If these messages found a home in your heart, it means heaven has already been speaking to you long before you arrived here. You simply paused long enough to listen. The light you carry now is your own, yet it shines even brighter when shared. When you like this message, it isn't for applause, it's an act of acknowledgement. It's as if you're whispering to heaven, "I've heard you, and I'm grateful." When you share, imagine passing a lantern across the dark. Somewhere, another soul, still waiting for dawn, will see its glow and realize they are not alone. You may never know their name, but heaven will link your stories together through that small spark of compassion. When you subscribe, think of it as returning to a familiar fire, a space where your faith is refueled and your peace is protected. This isn't about numbers, it's about family. Each time you return, you add warmth to a growing circle of light. If you ever feel led to comment, let your words fall softly, like seeds. Every sentence can become a quiet prayer for someone else reading. What if your simple line becomes the reason another heart keeps believing, and if your spirit ever moves you to donate? Let it flow naturally, like rain watering soil that has already given you fruit. You're not paying for words, you're partnering with purpose, helping this light continue, reaching those still searching for it. None of this is obligation. Every act of support, in any form, is a choice of love. So, walk forward, carrying peace, not pressure. You are part of a living flow of grace, an unending story written in light. And as you go, remember, the dawn is not something you chase anymore. It's something you've become,